The video call from my mother was supposed to be a surprise for my birthday. I have someone here who wants to say hello. She turned the phone, and my heart stopped. Jake Sullivan sat at my mother's kitchen table, wearing my Chicago Bears jersey, eating her famous pot roast. "Hey, Miss Chen," he waved. "Thanks for dinner." My mother beamed. "I'm so glad Marcus has such good friends visiting while he's deployed." Jake, who I'd watched die, whose blood still stained my uniform, whose last words were gurgled through a throat full of shrapnel. He was playing my best friend to my own mother, sleeping in my childhood bed, looking through my yearbooks. The empty coffin at Arlington suddenly made sense. We'd buried 180 pounds of sandbags, because that's all that was left after the explosion. Or so we were told. Welcome to the channel, where death isn't always final and friendship can be the deadliest betrayal. Hit subscribe for more military mysteries. Let me tell you how my dead battle buddy stole my life while I was fighting his war. My name is Staff Sergeant Marcus Chen, 29 years old, Army combat medic, currently on my second deployment to Afghanistan. Jake Sullivan and I went through basic together at Fort Benning. Two scared kids from different worlds. Me from Chicago's South Side, him from rural Montana. The Army made us brothers. Jake was the golden boy, 6'2", built like a linebacker, could outrun anyone in the company. Natural leader, made friends easily. I was the bookworm who joined for college money, barely scraped through the physical requirements. But Jake took me under his wing. "Chen, you're smarter than all of us combined. I'll get you through PT, you get me through the written tests." That was our deal. We were inseparable through 8. Got lucky with same unit assignment. Deployed together to Afghanistan in 2021. First deployment was rough, but we watched each other's backs. Jake saved my life twice. Pulled me out of an ambush in Kandahar. Carried me to Miles when I got hit with shrapnel. I patched him up more times than I could count. Blood brothers, literally. Between deployments, Jake struggled. Montana felt small after Afghanistan. His girlfriend left him, said he'd changed. His family didn't understand the nightmares. He'd crash at my mom's place in Chicago during leave. She loved him like a second son. Made extra pot roast because Jake could eat for 3 people. He called her mom Chen, and she'd beam. When orders came for deployment too, Jake was different, eager to go back. "Nothing makes sense here anymore, Chen. At least over there, I know who I am." I thought he meant the clarity of military life. Now I know he meant something else entirely. He'd been planning his death before we even left American soil. Chapter 2. The Convoy, March 15, 2022. Route Irish, outside Kabul. Routine supply convoy. Done it dozens of times. Jake volunteered our squad for point vehicle. "Easy money," he said. "Road's been clear for weeks. 6 of us in the MRAP. Jake driving, me in TC seat, Rodriguez, Williams, Thompson, and Miller in back. The IED was massive, buried deep, triggered perfectly. The blast flipped our 20-turn vehicle like a toy. I remember the world turning upside down, the taste of copper, the silence after the noise. Then the ambush started. Taliban fighters had waited for the bomb. Coordinated attack. From 3 positions, I was thrown clear, landed hard in a ditch. Broken ribs, concussion, but alive. Could hear screaming from the vehicle. Crawled back, found Jake pinned under the wreckage. He was conscious, blood everywhere. The others. Rodriguez and Williams were gone. Thompson unconscious. Miller trying to return fire with one arm. Double quotes. Chen. Buddy. Jake grabbed my hand. His throat was shredded by shrapnel. Blood bubbled with each word. Tell. Tell Mom Chen. Thanks for everything. I tried to stop the bleeding, used everything I had, but there was too much damage. Held him as life faded from his eyes. Felt him go limp. The weight of a dead brother is something you never forget. QRF arrived 20 minutes later. Firefight lasted another hour. When the dust settled, 5 KIA. Only Thompson and I survived. They bagged the bodies, what was left of them. The IED had been brutal. Some of the remains were incomplete. Jake's body was mangled but intact. I helped zip the bag myself. Couldn't let anyone else do it. Chapter 3. The funeral. I escorted Jake's remains home. Dover, to Chicago, to Montana. His parents were destroyed. His mom kept saying my baby boy over and over. The funeral was massive. Jake was beloved in his hometown. Full military honors. 21-gun salute. Taps played as we lowered him into Montana soil. I presented the flag to his mother. On behalf of a grateful nation. ... The words felt hollow. What nation? What gratitude? Jake died for a supply run. But I said them, because that's what you do. You honor the fallen. You carry their memory. You survive for them. The coffin was closed, body too damaged for viewing. His parents wanted to see him one last time, but I convinced them to remember him whole. That's not Jake in there, I told them. Jake's already gone. Remember him laughing. Not like this. They trusted me. Why wouldn't they? I was his brother. I'd been there when he died. My mom came to the funeral, cried like she'd lost her own son. He was such a good boy, Marcus. Always so polite, always grateful. She put flowers on his grave every month after I redeployed. Sent me photos. Jake's resting peacefully, she'd write. If only she knew Jake was very much not resting. I went back to Afghanistan carrying survivor's guilt like body armor. Why Jake and not me? Why did I live when better men died? The nightmares were brutal. Jake's bloody face, his last words, the weight of his dead body. Therapy helped, but the guilt remained. I was alive because Jake died. That's what I believed. Chapter 4. The birthday surprise. Fast forward to November 2023, my 29th birthday. Still in Afghanistan. Extended deployment. Morale was shit. Lost 3 more guys to an IED last month. Counting days until rotation home. Mom knew I was struggling. Planned a video call. Surprise. Got the whole family together at her house. Marcus, happy birthday, baby. Mom's face filled the screen. Behind her, cousins, aunts, neighbors. Chicago's South Side showing love. We miss you. Come home safe. Then she got that mischievous smile. I have someone special here who wanted to wish you happy birthday. She turned the phone. My brain short-circuited. Jake Sullivan sat at my mother's kitchen table. My Jake. Dead Jake. Wearing my Bears jersey, the one I'd left in my closet. Eating pot roast off my plates. Very much alive, Jake. Hey, buddy, he said to someone off-screen. Miss Chen's pot roast is even better than you said. Mom turned the camera back. Such a sweet boy. He said he served with you. Came all the way from Texas to visit while you're gone. Takes care of his army family. She was so proud. So happy to have Marcus's friend there. Jake waved in the background. Casual. Comfortable. Like he belonged. I couldn't speak. Couldn't breathe. Watched my dead friend charm my family for another 10 minutes. Watched him hug my mother. Watched him promise to visit again. Until Marcus comes home, I'll check on you, he told her. My mother kissed his cheek, the cheek I'd seen torn open by shrapnel. Chapter 5. Investigation begins. Ended the call, claiming bad connection. Then vomited. Jake was alive. Jake was in my house. Jake was wearing my clothes. What the fuck was happening? Pulled up Facebook with shaking hands. Searched Jake Sullivan. His memorial page was still active. Hundreds of ripped messages. His parents, posting about missing their son. But there was another profile. Marcus Chen, not my real one, but a duplicate, active in Texas. Photos of Jake living my life. Working at a VA hospital in Austin. My certifications, my medical license number. Dating, profiles with my name but his face. LinkedIn, showing my work history. Complete identity theft by a ghost. Called my buddy, stationed at Fort Hood, Rodriguez. I need you to check something. Quietly, gave him Jake's details. 2 days later, call back. Bro, there's a Marcus Chen working at the Austin VA combat medic. Chicago accent, big white dude, which is weird for someone named Chen. Jake had been living as me for over a year. Dug deeper. Jake had accessed my records before the convoy. Knew my social, my details. had copies of my documents. The convoy route. He'd volunteered for it. The IED location. On a part of road he'd suggested we take. The incomplete remains. No DNA testing in theater. Just dog tags and assumption. Jake had orchestrated everything. But why? Why fake his death? Why steal my identity? Why kill 5 brothers? The answer came from his old Facebook. A message sent night before the convoy. Can't do this anymore. Need to disappear. Sorry for what's about to happen. He'd planned it all. The explosion was his exit strategy. What Jake had done was monstrous in its brilliance. He knew that convoy would get hit. He'd probably sold the intel. Positioned himself to survive while others died. Left enough blood and tissue to seem fatal. His remains were sandbags and meat from the dining facility. We'd buried garbage while Jake walked away. He'd used the chaos of the attack to disappear. Changed into civilian clothes, hidden in the vehicle. Slipped away during the firefight. Made it to Kabul, then out of country. Using fake papers. The Taliban probably helped for the right price. All while I held what I thought was his dying body. He'd acted the death scene while planning his escape. Once stateside, he became me. Had all my documents. Knew my history from years of friendship. The VA hired him without question. Combat medic with clean record. Started drawing my benefits. Lived in Austin where no one knew the real Marcus Chen. Built a new life on my identity while I mourned his death. The worst part, he was good at being me, better than I was. Successful at the VA, dating attractive women, living the life I'd planned after service. While I rotted in Afghanistan, carrying guilt for his death, he was thriving as me, even visiting my mother, playing the dutiful friend. The ultimate betrayal. I couldn't report it through normal channels. Jake was officially dead. Military bureaucracy would take months to untangle. By then, he'd disappear again. And who'd believe me? That a Kia soldier was alive and stealing identities. I'd sound insane. Needed proof. Needed help. Needed to get home. Chapter 7. Emergency leave. Faked a family emergency for leave. Mother hospitalized. Critical condition. Command approved it. Flew 30 hours from Kabul to Chicago. Mom was fine, of course. Surprised to see me. Marcus, why didn't you tell me you were coming? Couldn't explain. Just hugged her and checked. The house. Jake's presence was everywhere. His coffee mug in the cabinet. Toothbrush in my bathroom. Clothes in my closet. My clothes that he'd claimed. Mom chatted happily about your friend Jake, who visited monthly. Brought groceries. Fixed her car. Such a good boy. Reminds me of you. The irony was suffocating. Found more evidence in my room. Jake had gone through everything. Photo albums, yearbooks, personal documents, learning to be me better. Even found practice signatures. He'd been perfecting my handwriting. My childhood bedroom had become his identity theft laboratory. He'd studied me like a role for months. Drove to Austin without telling anyone. 16 hours of rage and disbelief. Parked outside the VA hospital. Waited, then saw him. Jake Sullivan walking out in scrubs. My name badge on his chest. Laughing. With coworkers. Living my dream of working stateside VA. The dead man thriving in my life. Followed him home. To an apartment I'd never seen but was apparently renting. Watched him enter with groceries. Normal evening for Marcus Chen. Except Marcus. Chen was sitting in a rental car, watching a ghost live his life. The urge to confront him was overwhelming, but I needed more than anger. Needed strategy. Chapter 8. Building the case. Contacted a pie buddy from my unit. Explained the insane situation. He didn't believe me until I showed him photos. Jake alive. Jake as me. Jake at my mother's house. Holy shit, Chen. This is fucking insane. Together we built the evidence file. Financial fraud, identity theft, stolen valor, and worse, murder. Because that's what it was. Jake had murdered 5 soldiers for his escape plan. Rodriguez, Williams, Miller, Johnson, and Torres. Good men, real brothers. Dead so Jake could play dead. Their families mourning while Jake enjoyed his new life. The Ide wasn't random. Jake had made it happen. We found the money trail. Jake had been selling information before the attack. Taliban payments to offshore accounts, location of patrols, convoy schedules, troop movements, treason on top of murder. He'd funded his new life with blood money. The men he'd killed had paid for his apartment, his car, his freedom. The pies suggested FBI involvement, military crime, but also federal identity theft. We compiled everything: photos, documents, financial records, the video from my mom's birthday, bank statements showing Jake accessing my accounts, even DNA evidence from his toothbrush at mom's house. Airtight, case for a crime that shouldn't exist. But before FBI, I had one stop: Arlington National Cemetery. Jake's grave. Stood there, looking at his headstone. Here lies a hero. It read, bullshit. Here lies sandbags and lies. The real Jake was in Texas, stealing lives and dishonoring the dead. Time to dig up the truth, literally. Chapter 9. The empty grave convinced Arlington to open the grave. Told them about irregularities, possible missing remains. They were skeptical until I showed evidence Jake was alive. The exhumation was scheduled quickly. Federal crime to bury non-human remains in military cemetery. Someone was getting prosecuted. The day they opened it, I was there with FBI agents. The coffin was light, too light. Inside, sandbags, rocks, someone's bloody uniform, not Jake's, and dog tags. No body, no bones, nothing human except blood that DNA testing would prove wasn't Jake's. We'd mourned sandbags. His parents had cried over rocks. The FBI moved fast after that. Jake Sullivan was alive, had faked his death, caused the deaths of 5 soldiers. Federal warrants issued. Austin PD would arrest him at the VA. I wanted to be there, needed to see his face when the ghost became flesh again. When Marcus Chen arrested Jake Sullivan, the arrest was anticlimactic. Jake walked out of VA into waiting officers, saw me and went white. No dramatic confrontation, just quiet hey, Marcus, like we'd bumped into each other at grocery store. They cuffed him. Read writes. He didn't resist. The ghost was solid again. The dead man in handcuffs. At FBI office. Jake confessed everything. No remorse, just explanation. I couldn't take another deployment. Couldn't come home to nothing again. Your life was perfect. Stable mom, VA job waiting, clean record. I deserved it more. 5 men died because Jake was tired. My identity stolen because he envied my future. Chapter 10. Justice and Aftermath Trial. Was sensation. Dead soldier alive. Identity theft. Treason. Murder. Media went crazy. Jake's parents devastated twice. First by death, then by truth. My mom horrified. She'd been hosting her son's betrayer. Families of dead soldiers demanding answers. How many other Jakes were out there? Jake got life without parole. 5 counts: murder, treason, identity theft, fraud. Military court showed no mercy. He'd betrayed everything: country, brothers, oath. The golden boy from Montana became federal prisoner. 47,381. His cell smaller than the coffin we'd buried. Fitting justice for a ghost. I struggled with aftermath. Identity recovered, but tainted. VA job, gone. Jake had been fired for malpractice, using my credentials. Credit destroyed. Relationships ruined. Even mom looked at me differently, like I should have known. PTSD from war, multiplied by PTSD from betrayal. Some wounds don't heal. Started nonprofit for identity theft victims, especially veterans. Ghostwatch, monitoring for dead soldiers walking. You'd be surprised how common it is. Fake deaths for insurance, benefits, escape. We've caught dozen cases. Not all as extreme as Jake, but theft nonetheless. The dead walking among us. Hardest part was the guilt. Survivor's guilt replaced by enabler's guilt. How had I not seen Jake's darkness? How many clues had I missed? The eager volunteering for dangerous missions. The questions about my documents. The comments about wanting my life. All there, ignored because he was my brother. Final reflection. My name is Marcus Chen. My battle buddy faked his death, killed 5 soldiers, and stole my identity. I mourned him while he lived as me, carried guilt while he carried my driver's license. His ghost haunted my dreams while his flesh enjoyed my life. The brother I'd have died for had already killed me on paper. Jake taught me that death isn't always final and friendship isn't always real, that the enemy might share your foxhole, that sometimes the dead walk and the living are ghosts. He stole more than my identity. He stole my ability to trust. Every friendship now has an asterisk. Every brother might be planning my funeral. But I survived. The real Marcus Chen outlived his ghost. Jake rots in federal prison while I rebuild. My mom makes pot roast for real friends now. Arlington has an empty grave as memorial to betrayal. And somewhere in Montana, Jake's parents mourn the son they never really knew. To my brothers still serving. Watch your 6, even in your own unit. Document everything. Guard your identity like your life. They might be the same thing. Because sometimes the enemy wears your uniform, knows your mother, and plans your death between shared meals. Sometimes your battle buddy is the battle. The living shouldn't envy the dead, but the dead shouldn't envy the living either. Jake crossed that line and took 5 good men with him. Now he's buried deeper than the empty coffin at Arlington. No taps, no flag, no honor. Just a ghost who learned that some resurrections lead straight to hell. Rangers lead the way, even when the way leads to arresting your own dead brother.